Hey, could you tell us your story? Could you tell us how you got here? You're in a pretty influential spot. You are the COO of Facebook, 35,000 associates. Tell us how you got here.
Well, I grew up in Miami, Florida. My father was a doctor. My mother was a community activist and teacher. And I actually never thought I'd work in a business.
Yeah, I've heard you say that they
Yeah.
were not.
They were not pro-business.
That's right.
They were not
that was wild
pro-business.
for me
They've
to
come
hear that.
along. But, being a doctor was a good thing, being a
Yeah, you're
volunteer,
helping
working in a
people.
nonprofit. That's right. But I went into the government after I graduated from college. I actually went to the World Bank. I worked on leprosy in India,
Wow.
which is as kind of challenging an experience as I had had at least at that point. And then I went into the government, and then what I saw kind of sitting in DC, I was at the Treasury Department in the Clinton presidency, was technology. And technology seemed like it was just changing things
Yep.
and very mission-based. And
Yep.
so I came all the way out here. I went to Google. I was there for almost 6.5 years, and then I came to Facebook.
And you started at Google. You had 4 employees on your team, and it grew to 4,000 in your tenure there.
Well, yes, my team did, and the company
They're
grew
way
to
bigger than that. Yeah,
20,000.
but I still couldn't even believe that. But so you've been here for
Almost 11 years.
11
I want to say
years.
11 years in just a few weeks.
Wow. Well, congratulations and thank you. I love the mission of Facebook is to create communities.
That's right.
And it's really similar to what the church does.
No, that's right. And it wasn't the original mission. So Facebook's 15 years old, and the original mission was to help people share and give people the power to share and connect. And I think, way into our history, over a year ago, Mark really had a chance, our founder, to think about what it meant to connect. And he decided that connection wasn't enough. Connection was great.
Yep.
But it's really about what we do with those connections and building community. So we did something not a lot of companies do, which is we changed our mission. And the mission is now explicitly about building community. And I do think that's what a lot of faith-based organizations do, because I think both at the worst moments of our lives and some of the best moments of our lives, and even just the daily, mundane moments of our lives, we are better when we're not alone. And whether that's connection to faith, so we don't feel alone, whether that's connection to someone who's leading us in worship. I know you do that for so many people around the country. Or whether that's connection to the person who lives next door, the person who lives across the world with whom we share something. It is those connections that I think help us get through, bring out the best in us. And that is our mission.
Well, you guys have made the world smaller in a lot of ways. But you've become famous probably for reasons that you definitely wouldn't have intended. You wrote a book called Option B. This book, I've got to say, is fantastically written. I'm sure that getting to write it with Adam Grant probably helped. What a phenomenally smart person. But this is your story. Can you tell us a little bit about why you wrote it and the circumstances that surrounded you writing it?
Yeah, so I wrote a book before that. I never really thought I'd be a writer, but I actually found I love to write. I wrote a book called Lean In about women and equality. And then years later, in 2015, my husband died very, very suddenly. We had 2 young children, 7 and 10 at the time. And I think for me, the processing of that, I took to what I had realized I loved years before, which is I started writing, and I started writing a journal, and it eventually became a book. And when my husband first died, I asked Adam, he's my psychologist friend, even though, as he said, he's not that kind of psychologist. He's an industrial and organizational psychologist, not a
But that
not
had
a
to be,
clinic.
it had to be
Yeah.
so helpful to have someone like that to process this with.
Yeah. But I said, how much strength do I have? How much resilience? And he said, that's the wrong question.
Wow.
Because you're not born with a set amount of resilience, you build it.
Yep.
And we build it in ourselves, and we build it in each other. And this book was me processing and learning with Adam how people get stronger, how people overcome loss and grief and hardship to try to find their way. I talked to a friend today who suddenly lost her husband.
Wow.
And, she never expected it to happen. I never expected it to happen to her or to me. But this book was my way of trying to honor Dave's life and give back. And so, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to think about it and hard to talk about it. But it's not like I don't think about it anyway. Right? I mean, I think that's one of the core lessons of the book. The core lessons of the book is, in my experience, is kick the elephant out of the room. Before I lost Dave, I would walk into Facebook, walk into work. Everyone talked to me. Drop my kids off at school. After I lost Dave, there was just silence.
Because they didn't know what to say.
They were afraid to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And I saw myself in that. Like I thought about colleagues at work who were going through cancer. I would say something one time, I'm so sorry to hear you're sick. And then I would never bring it up again because I was afraid to remind them. You can't remind someone she has cancer. She knows. If you say to me, even almost 4 years later, I'm so sorry for your loss, I don't think, oh, I
What
forgot.
loss?
What
Right.
loss? What are you talking about, right? I know. So one of our core messages is kick the elephant out of
Yeah,
the room
that's right.
and show up for each
Yeah.
other. And I do think that follows what faith does.
Yeah, it
Church, when you
does.
go to, I mean, you've been to more services than I did. I was raised and I still am Jewish, but when you go to temple, when you go to church, people are talking about the hard stuff. You're not
right.
just talking about
That's right.
the sun is shining today. You are there to talk about
Right.
life and birth and death and love and God and the hardships. And you are kicking those elephants out of the room and helping people deal with them.
Grief is different for every person. And I learned that through what you've written, that let the person decide. I think you called it the platinum rule. The golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do. But the platinum rule is do for them what they would want done for them. So asking them, hey, are you ready to come back? Would you like to come back? I assume that's what you
That's
mean
right.
by that.
And no, you don't know.
Yeah.
So one thing
Yeah.
I realized
Yeah.
is how many mistakes I had made with friends going through hardship before when I realized this.
Yeah.
I think, again, people are afraid to say something. I would say something once and then not bring
yeah.
it up
Oh,
again.
yeah.
And now it's really different. And, you know, I've never had cancer. I have lots of friends who've had it. I no longer think I know. I literally say to them, can you give me some advice? I want to be there for you in every way possible. I want to make sure you're not going through this alone. What can I do? And then be specific. Can I bring dinner to your house?
Yep.
Can I babysit your kids
Yep.
while you're going
Yep.
for treatment?
Yep.
Do you want to come over?
Yep.
Watch a movie on my couch? Like, you know, get specific, but ask.
I love your
Do you
question.
want to talk about it a lot? Do you want to talk about it not at all?
When you said, what do you not want on a burger? Which I think
Correct.
is fantastic. Tell me what you
Correct.
don't want, because I'm going to bring you one, whether you want it or not.
It's one of my favorite stories. So in here, we have a story of my friend and Facebook colleague, an amazing, amazing family, Dan Levy and his amazing wife. They lost a child, and they were in the hospital for many months before that child passed away. Yes, it's devastating. And they had a friend who texted and said, I'm in the lobby for a hug, whether or not you want one or not. Like, I'm here for an hour, come down or not, but I'm here. You know, the other friend showed up and said, what do you not want on a burger? Because I will be bringing a
love
burger.
that line.
A friend of my sister's who had a child, who had her daughter's teacher's child got cancer, and she had read the book. And she said before she read the book, she would have done nothing. It's her daughter's teacher's child. Like, she knows the teacher, but she's not close. But she read the book, so she bought a big stuffed animal. And she went to the hospital and said, I'm here. I have a stuffed animal for your daughter. I can leave it in the lobby or come up. The teacher said right away, please come up. So she went upstairs. Sorry, cannot talk about this without crying. She went upstairs, gave that 4-year-old the big stuffed animal. Teacher standing behind crying. And in that whole hour she was there, no one showed up. We don't have, everyone thinks that someone else is closer with the
right.
person.
Yeah.
We don't have enough friends from first grade to take care of us through these things. Show up.
Yeah.
Show up with the stuffed animal, show up with a card, show up with a hug. But ask people, do you want me to be there? With no imposition. I'm here.
Cheryl, that's beautiful.